Tesla stock today is rallying. It is up almost 6% as I'm recording this, 30 minutes before the market closes. I will go through all of today's Tesla stock news as well as the reasons why Tesla stock is up today. Elon replied to one of Razat's posts with major improvements coming for Summon and Banish, so Auto Park, and that will be next month. Elon, though, is often optimistic with his timeline, so we will see, but Razat says that after his first FSD v12.3 experience of 2 hours, he does notice a lot of improvements, vastly improved safety versus v12.2. Overall, massive improvements over v11, but still not perfect. However, it's becoming much clearer that perfection is achievable with this hardware and software stack, especially given its excellent performance in blind turns. In an interview with Don Lemon, Elon Musk confirmed that the new Roadster is going to use steer-by-wire as well as a new yoke. And maybe it will fly. So the interview with Don Lemon and Elon Musk, it was an absolutely fascinating display of logic versus emotion. It became clear Elon was getting tired of Don's inability to view the world through his lens, and he kept trying to push his lens, one that views everything through race and sex as the only right way to view the world. This is at the core of so many issues with our society today, the inability for some to accept the fact that there are many out there that don't care about sex, race, orientation, etc., and are solely interested in the merits of the person. That's it. It was obviously very difficult for Don to understand this, and thus by default it's likely that Elon is sexist, racist, or probably both, based on where Don Lemon was coming from. As I'm recording this, Tesla stock is up substantially. I think there are a few reasons for this. One is price increases in the US as well as Europe. And we did see quite a few promising FSD clips, and Elon commented again on FSD, but I think it's probably mostly the price increases. I don't think institutional investors are paying much attention to FSD, but regular investors who have just experienced FSD 12.3, I think these people are fairly bullish. Gary's delivery forecast remains at 425,000 for this quarter. The price increase also sends a signal that management may be willing to put a bottom on auto gross margins, a move that would be viewed favorably by investors. But I think FSD is actually pushing the stock up a little bit. There are so many interesting clips comparing the old version with the new version. Take a look at this one from Chuck Cook.
But this is narrow roads. This is my narrow roads test on Birkenhead, where I've really struggled over the past couple years with the car's inability of using the entire lane and oncoming traffic just creating a scenario where it didn't know what to do. I've got an oncoming car. There's my pay attention to the road, and my steering wheel is pointed straight towards him. And now look, it's going out into the middle. Okay, this is ridiculous. Okay, this car is not comfortable with what I'm doing. He was slowing down because I was doing complete S-turns there in the middle of the road. And that warning was because I'm over on the edge of the drivable space and it wasn't comfortable with how close I was. So that was not exactly what you want to see. It seems like version 12 has fixed it, but for the purposes of just demonstrating the use case, we'll go ahead and grab a couple laps on here and see if we can create some scenarios with some traffic. But if it works perfectly, then who knows, maybe this scenario. All right, we got it. We do have our first oncoming car here. That's great. Speed bump slowed all the way down to 13. And look at this. It's not even flinching. And look how far to the right it went. Fixed.
Nice.
Version 12.3, narrow roads. This just gave version 11 a heck of a time. It seemed like it was just about using that drivable space on the very edge of the road that version 11 just couldn't violate its own buffers.
The light, man.
The light is green. That blue bus is, I think, picking up people or dropping people off. The light just turned red, and we need to turn right. And you usually turn right from that right lane, but that bus turned.
Please let us go.
Right from the middle.
Shoot. He did not. Let's see what we do. I think this is the right move. You wait for the bus to go, and then you go. That's it. Perfect.
Now, I would have probably gotten behind that bus on the right side because that was the right turn lane, but I don't think this was wrong really either. It shows that the car is sort of building a mind of its own, which is going to let it get out of some difficult situations later on. And Rob Maurer actually took FSD V12.3 for a test in downtown Chicago yesterday with 0 disengagements interventions in the first 30 minutes despite incredibly dense traffic and pedestrians during the St. Patrick's Day festivities. Extremely impressive, says Rob, and you know that he doesn't hype Tesla up if Tesla is not living up to expectations. He has a few favorite moments.
That biker startled it a little bit. This person on the scooter. Right, again, it's going to pause here a little bit. Maybe not.
This is so
This
busy.
is going to be very difficult. It's going to need to be very assertive here.
Whoa.
And it was. Wow. Wow. That was great.
That was
great.
amazing.
That's exactly how I would have handled that.
Another situation.
So now we're going to have to wait for massive amounts of pedestrians. You can see they were pretty aggressive. We'll see version 12 is. It's no gap yet. We're going to be waiting a bit.
It's so busy.
It is edging forward. Tons of honking, but there's nothing we can do here. Maybe it could go there, but probably not. Now we got a red. We still got to wait for these to clear out, but it is finding the gap here. This is great. This is great. Go now. Yep. Perfect. Again, wouldn't have done anything different there.
Rob's conclusion is that FSD V12.3 seems like a major step forward from my early testing and hopefully provides the proper foundation to accelerate the rate of progress significantly. It's not perfect, and it's still going to take time, but I am excited. Congratulations to the Tesla team. Here's another case where FSD is being pretty impressive.
Oh, okay, stopping at the mailbox. Is it going to try to go around? I would not, because we've got a blind turn and a double yellow. Now, if I could see around, maybe I would, and maybe it would. So this is, let's see, this is a great scenario here. Okay. Now, it is. Now this time it's going around. Oh, man.
Good.
Obviously, it knew before that was not good to go around a blind curve, and this time it did. That's awesome.
I'm also seeing quite a few people say things like this. Caught super special roundabout conquered by Tesla self-driving V12.3. And some investors that didn't really put much emphasis on Tesla solving full self-driving are now turning. AJ says, I have never published my work on FSD in relation to the potential financial effects of robotaxi since previously I thought this was premature. I am changing my mind now due to current events. Here are some of his assumptions. Now, I personally model robotaxi in the long term, so I'm definitely not assuming 76 cents, but in the short term, once it gets solved, yeah, we will see fairly high prices per mile, but these prices will come down significantly over time as the fleets get bigger. And AJ has his detailed outlook here. So yes, people start to get more bullish on FSD. The stock is likely going to rise if that hype and bullishness and progress continues. I'm also seeing quite a few posts like this. I completed 6 ride-share trips a day using FSD V12.3. Not a single rider noticed the car was driving itself. There were 0 interventions and 0 disengagements. Yeah, things are definitely different now. Before, we wouldn't see so many people. I mean, we would see maybe 1 or 2, but not dozens of people saying things like that. So things are certainly moving forward. This is not just hype alone. This hype is based on actual things that are happening right now that in the long term are going to be material to Tesla stock. There was another comment by Elon from the interview about a roadster. The only way to do something cooler than the Cybertruck is to combine SpaceX and Tesla technology to create something that's not even really a car. Anyway, despite the earnings projections dropping, Tesla stock is up today, and I do expect some of the delivery estimates to come down actually more. Troy updated his delivery estimate. His official public estimate right now is 435,000 versus 450,000 on February 28th. The analyst consensus is at 475,000. These numbers were as of March 5th. Today, on March 17th, the analyst consensus has gone down to 469,000. I think that's certainly too high. Tesla's Supercharger network is now officially available for Rivian vehicles. There's some pushback from some Tesla owners. I think no one is talking about how terrible this will be for Tesla owners. We already have overcrowding issues. Now it's just going to be crazy 45-minute wait times to charge. Sawyer thinks no, Tesla opening its Supercharger network to non-Tesla EVs and making it a public standard is a net positive for Tesla owners, Tesla investors, and non-Tesla EV owners. The extra revenue generated by non-Tesla EVs charging allows Tesla to invest more in new charging locations. It also gives non-Tesla EV owners a taste of the Tesla ownership experience. At the end of the day, Tesla making their connector an app standard accelerates Tesla's mission. I think if Tesla doesn't open its Supercharger network, eventually other companies would build out their charging network. So if that's going to happen eventually, why just not have Tesla do it? There's money to be made with supercharging. Someone's gonna make it. It might as well be Tesla. And there's another discussion going on about free trials for FSD sources. I feel like we might be getting close to the point where Tesla will start offering FSD free trials. If you remember, Elon did talk about that about a year ago now almost, that FSD has to be super smooth, not just safe for Tesla to start doing it. For some other things, I think we need to see flawless execution on the roads and very good execution in parking lots and summon, probably end of year, to be honest. But Sawyer responds with, when those two things drop in the next 1 to 2 months, we should have a better idea. Elon also says 12.4 will bring big improvements. But to be fair, Elon hypes up pretty much every version of FSD. Farzad says, I'm setting my expectations appropriately so that my mind can be blown. This is a bit weird. If Rivian is doing advertising, they should do it for products they currently sell. R2 doesn't come out for another 2 years, maybe longer. And despite that, there are quite a few ads on Instagram promoting this vehicle. They are probably trying to boost reservations, and they can use these numbers on their earnings call to make the stock go up. Well, isn't this interesting? Recently, Jerry had some very vocal opinions about his dislike for Tesla FSD. Now he posts a YouTube video sponsored by Ford called "What Does Hands-Free Driving Even Mean?" As you can see, the video itself says this video is sponsored by Ford. While Ford has, unbeknownst to us, literally lined his pocket, very likely to the tune of $50,000 for this one video, says Gregor Truck. So yeah, that definitely makes sense now. Grok, which is X's equivalent to ChatGPT, has now been officially open sourced exactly like Elon promised. ChatGPT responded to this, and this account actually belongs to OpenAI, so it's really funny. Stole my whole joke, and Elon asked, tell us more about the open parts of OpenAI. Grok's profile picture is also quite interesting. And now that it is open source, we are learning all sorts of things. Grok is gigantic, biggest open source LLM ever. It's twice the size of GPT 3.5. Elon is happy with the work he's doing with X. Still work to do, but this platform is already by far the most transparent and truth-seeking. Not a high bar, to be honest. AJ is making some dire Rivian predictions. A massive shareholder diluted raise is unavoidable. He basically thinks that Rivian advertising the model that's not coming out for a few years is a pump and dump sort of thing. Rivian is the world's record holder among BEV makers with the largest cumulative cash burn and might possibly be a company with the largest cash burn in history with approximately $20 billion. Fisker said today it would pause production of its electric vehicles for 6 weeks and raise up to $150 million in funding by selling convertible notes after missing an interest payment as it tries to navigate a cash crunch. And so the stock drops even further. Their market cap is only at $84 million and they are trying to raise 150. That company is just done. Legacy auto dealerships were surveyed about how they felt about the future of EVs, and you can see they are not feeling quite positive. Scores under 50 means expectations are not exactly great. Things are not going great for them, for legacy EV specifically. And this is how these dealerships feel about the sales 3 months from now. Under 50 means they expect lower EV sales at their dealership, and it's significantly below 50. I am personally a bit surprised by this one. Apple is in talks to build Google's Gemini artificial intelligence engine into the iPhone, setting the stage for a blockbuster agreement. Why can't Apple build its own large language model like ChatGPT or Grok? Elon did it so quickly. Yeah, if he can't even figure out a large language model, I definitely don't expect Apple to compete with Tesla when it comes to full self-driving. I mean, they already closed their EV division, but yeah, I don't think they have any plans going forward to enter that market at all. Volvo is making a smart move here. Volvo to switch to online direct sales in Germany after 2025. We need less than 500 more signatures to hit 10,000 on my NHTSA petition, says Sawyer. Please consider signing the petition if you haven't. This is to urge the NHTSA to stop paper recall letters and classifying OTA software updates as recalls. Another celebrity has taken delivery of the Cybertruck. Sawyer says that rapper Sway Lee has taken delivery of a Cybertruck. He has over 15 million followers across all platforms. A couple of music videos he's in have over 1.5 billion views. Isn't this interesting? Elon Musk says this sounds very biased. A study found that Google cost Republican candidates over $2 billion in donations since 2019 by flagging 77% of their fundraising emails as spam. During the same time, Gmail marked less than 11% of Democrat fundraising as spam. Elon reposted this clip from his interview with Don Lemon. He says this is important, so let's take a look.
Yeah. Can we talk about the great replacement theory now? Some of the things that you post, the great replacement theory, you claim that Democrats, President Biden's immigration plan to open up the border, you said that the president is getting, and Democrats are doing it to get more votes. But undocumented immigrants cannot vote in federal elections, so how is that possible?
Right. Well, you're conflating two things. One is great replacement theory. The other is, which I don't subscribe to that. I'm simply saying that there is an incentive here. If legal immigrants, which I think have a very strong bias to, at least everything I've read, it's a very strong bias to vote Democrat. The more that come into the country, the more they're likely to vote in that direction. But it is, in my view, a simple incentive to increase voters, Democrat voters. And yeah, so the question is like how? So there's a few ways that this works. One is that when the census is done, the census is based on all people in an area, whether they are citizens or not. So if there are a concentration of people who came here illegally in a particular state or in a particular state, that state will actually then get an increased number of House seats. So the House seat apportionment is proportionate to the number of people, not the number of citizens. So the illegals overwhelmingly go to places like California and New York, and if you just look at the math, if you look at the apportionment with and without illegals, I believe California would lose. I believe the blue state, there would be a net loss of blue states of approximately 20 seats in the House.
Makes so much sense after you understand that, why one political party is seemingly not really enforcing anything against illegal immigrants, at least not to a point that Elon would like the enforcement to happen.
This also applies to the Electoral College. So you say, like, well, this also applies to electing the president, because the electoral votes are also done by apportionment the same way that House seats are done.
But the reason, Elon, the Electoral College is in place is to balance that, is so that doesn't happen. So what you're saying about it is the exact opposite of the reason why the Electoral College is there. The Electoral College at this point, in our history, gives people who are in smaller states and red states much more of an influence over our elections than people who are in blue states, and the majority of the people in this country. That's what the Electoral College does. It actually does the exact opposite of what you're saying. It protects people who are in smaller states and protects people who are in red states.
Well,
The red states, because they tend to be smaller and less populous.
I think that statement is what you said is true, but what I said is also true, which is that if as is the case, a disproportionate number of legal immigrants go to blue states, they amplify the effect of a blue state vote. And the math, as I understand it, you can research this obviously very easily on there. It's pretty straightforward to research this. But my understanding is that there would be that the Democrats would lose approximately 20 seats in the House if illegals were not counted in the census, and that's also 20 less electoral votes for president. So the illegals absolutely do affect the who controls the House and who controls the presidency. It does not affect the Senate.
I'm still going through parts of the interview. I haven't finished watching it fully. By tomorrow, I will have finished the whole interview. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode.